Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Daniel Floyd, how are you going?
How dare you use that name, Dan? People start stalking me.
Penelope Tration, how are you this beautiful Friday lunchtime?
I'm very good. How about you? I'm pleased to be back in your bedroom again.
I know, back in my bedroom. I had to wash the sheets today. Oh, so get this. I had night sweats all night last night. And do you know what I think it was?
Tell me.
I went to Aldi for some snacks because I went over to a friend's place for a movie day yesterday. We had their corn chips and their popcorn, and it was very flavoursome. And I think they were covered in MSG.
Well, MSG got banned for a while, didn't it? And then it became like the godchild of like, it was linked to the Big C? And I don't mean Courtney Act, but I think it was linked to... Do you want to know the gay story about the Big... We always used to call Courtney the Big C as a bit of a gig. And it was double entendre as in like the Big C is in like Courtney Act, but also the Big C is in like, but also she never really got any of the double entendre until about 10 years later. And she's like, did you used to call me the Big C because I was a Big C? And we're like, tell me, girl. Are you
friend of the show, Courtney Act?
Oh, yes.
Say that again.
Friend of the show.
Well, it's just at the end of my street. It's 2 blocks away, and some of the stuff is great. Some of it's not. Whatever I ate yesterday is not.
Weird. Those are funny. And isn't it terrible? It's the same sort of thing that when you get there, you're like, hang on, wait a minute. Have I got night sweats? Hang on, do I have a sore throat? Like it's that you get nervy. You get the nerves. You got the nerves. But you're covered. You're with us today.
I am fighting fit and ready for...
Say it again, my lap.
I was going to say ready for Sydney Pride love stream.
And that's quite gay, that whole thing. Of course, would now be... I always find it weird that we have a Sydney Pride and a Sydney Mardi Gras. I don't know why the two just haven't mated and we've had like a Mardi Pride.
I know. And I think because our Mardi Gras is on at such a funny time of year compared to the rest of the world, everybody else's prides start now. So...
Well, it's weather-related. I think it's weather-related, isn't it?
I guess.
Well, it would be because, like, if America had Pride in February, March, then it would be cold. And haven't we? Oh, don't worry, that's a long story. I'll talk about.
That's true. I'm trying to get the Pride poster up on screen. I keep talking over you. Sorry, go, darling, go.
America, it's going wild at the moment. I mean, it's highest cases of COVID and wild riots. Dan, can you tell me how have you been supporting what's going on in America?
Well, I've been trying to do my bit online, and as every white person says, it's like, oh, I don't know what to say in case I say the wrong thing, and it's like, well, just say something, educate yourself. So I've been trying to do that. Let me bring up a little picture of somebody who was showing their support. Let's have a look here. It's an Instagram influencer, so I can let you guess how they're showing their support.
Heaven, great bums.
Oh, Black Lives Matter, guys, and allies. Oh, isn't it cute?
Hey, is that what it says at the bottom? What's his actual?
No, it's
Is
just
it becoming rude?
it's just got the
picture-
little fists.
Gay. Well, and that's probably appropriate showing their bums and the fists. I was telling you before, I've not had a great week with me anxieties. And yesterday I made a change to my bingo. And then someone reached out, and not in a nasty way, but they were like, you know, what are you doing to support Black Lives Matter? What are you doing to support Trans Lives Matter? What are you doing to support Black deaths in custody? And I was like, holy fuck, there's a lot of people I got to support. What's the right thing to post? What should I post? And I spent like 5 hours trying to do a post in the end. I was like, I can't think of the right words to say because it's just, you know what I mean? Like it's hard in this situation to put up a post that addresses everything and then doesn't it upset someone, and then people are posting crazy shit online as well.
People are really upset, and what jacks me off is when people you put up something about Black Lives Matter and then they put the hashtag All Lives Matter, and it's like, yes, all lives matter, but this is what we're going for at the moment, Black Lives Matter, because they're all being fucking killed.
I love a friend. An online acquaintance, and I hope she's not watching. You'll remember some time ago there was an Australian female. This is certainly not a laughing matter by any way, but there was an Australian female that called the police to a disturbance next door, and she ended up getting shot by the policeman. And the media was straight onto it. It caused the biggest uproar. There were riots. The policeman and this friend posted a picture of her and she goes, it's not just black people that get killed. She was killed as well. Where are her riots? And I was like, are you serious, bitch? And then I was like, Penny, delete. You know, it's like when you start buying into that conversation, you're like, yeah, no, out. Something I've got to ask you, Dan, is when you start buying into these conversations, there are words that we use to get across a point, but not really say the point. Have you got any of those words?
Well, one word that I love to use is schmozzle.
Oh my God, I love schmozzle.
You know when something is an absolute disastrous mess, and the politest way to put it is, oh, what a schmozzle.
I'm going to sneeze. Hold on for a minute.
Oh.
That was a schmozzle.
That was a camp sneeze.
Thank you. I like to do it really loud. Remember, schmozzle was my code word for that gentleman visitor to come to my hotel.
I forgot that. Oh my God.
Yeah, so I love schmozzle. I also used to sometimes say, I've left my key card, my room key. Not that I'd ever do this. I've left my room key on top of the Coca-Cola vending machine on level 7. My get out of jail free word card is, because you know, like sometimes, let me just say, I was a little bit late for the show today because I cannot find clothes that fit me, and those are really giving a beautiful view of my double D breasts.
Oh, I'll cover it with comments from our audience.
Yeah, thank you. Mine is rambunctious. So it's basically rambunctious. So it's basically like if I've been like drunk and obnoxious and given someone a shove, I'll be like, oh, I mean, we all know I was in a rambunctious mood, which just is my get out of jail free card.
Oh, I do love that. I also love flabbergasted.
Oh, flabbergasted is a good one. I'm trying to think of any. Has anyone in the audience got crazy cover-up words? I think we must go from Beverly Leslie because in the South, if they say bless her, it really means he's going wild on the internet still.
I know, he's going crazy. He went from like 50,000 followers on Insta to millions and millions and millions.
You know, we started at the same time. You, me, and him on our show.
What happened?
I don't know. We just didn't have Hollywood behind us. Dan, I must say that during the week I had a lovely conversation with you and didn't even address the fact that you celebrated a birthday.
I did. It was my birthday on Tuesday.
Are we saying how old you turn, or do we not ask a lady of a certain age or a certain age?
Oh, I don't mind. I turned 43, so
oh my God, you're just
kicking that can down the road, doll.
What's that?
Kicking that can down the road, she is,
She's over the hill. She's over the hill and rolling down. Well, yeah, I must say I felt really bad to say not saying happy birthday to you. And for anyone that's worked with Dan would know that he's the first person to give you a call and offer help. So thank you for being such a helper on this, your 43rd birthday. And I look forward to celebrating the next year with you and ringing you going, Dan, how do I do this? Dan, how do I do that?
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait until we can actually celebrate in a venue with more than 9 other friends.
That's weird that you said that, because last night I did my first in-club show. So I went back to Potts Point Hotel last night to do Gender Bender Bingo.
How was it? Was it good being back?
I wanted to play at the beginning of the show today. At the beginning of the show today, I want to pretend I was frozen to freak you out, but I'm like, no, it's enough technical. Look, do you know what I found really, really weird? And it wasn't until I started writing this fucking post that took 5 hours and I ended up deleting it, and I'll do it again today, that I've worked in King's Cross for 20 years at different clubs. And then all of a sudden, I started doing my shows in my house, and I just kind of love doing shows in my house more. I was late. Well, actually, I wasn't late. I wasn't as on time as I wanted. And it's really weird. Like, we pre-sold 50 tickets, which we sold out, which was great. So thank you to everyone that supported us. But then, because I've been doing bingo online, then I felt like I let down my online community. And then you wanted to hug everyone you see when you're out in the club, or, you know, drag queens love the mwah, mwah. Do that. Then a hot guy won, like a really hot guy won, and it's regulation that we remove their shirt. And then Tora will normally play some slow dance music. So we were slow dancing, but at a social distance. And then I realized we're breaking the rules because you're not allowed to dance. It's like there's a lot going on. But
yeah, I noticed it was good to be back. And what's 50 people like in that venue? Is it still pretty full, or is it sparse?
Yeah, do you know what? It felt like a quiet night of bingo.
Okay.
But I think it was one of the most anxious I've ever been going to the club. I rang Tora and I'm like, I'm not having a good day. I need a bit of help. And she's like, we'll drink. So we drank to get through it. It's weird. They gave me a corded microphone, which I'm not sure if that was just to keep me away from people. And we must say that it was Gender Bender Bingo, hosted by Penelope Tration Dan Tora Hyman, featuring Polly, because Polly was there. So, Polly likes to make her presence known.
Well, I tuned in when I got home from my friend's place last night. I tuned in and I could see you calling the numbers, and I could hear Polly calling out, "Tipping! We've been watching Tipping." I think he was talking about the Tipping Point game show.
What?
And both... it's this game show. Oh, I don't even know how to explain it. It's terrible. Right. It's on at the same time as The Chase. Right. He was calling that out, and both you and Tora were like, I don't know that one. All right, moving on. 6 and 9, 69.
It's really funny because, for those of you who don't know Polly was a dancer in Y Girls, the male dancer, and then has done drag for years. And he's the only person I would let get away with the fucking shit he gets away with. But it's the same for all of us. Like, he grabs a microphone, he walks across the stage, and you're like, it's just Polly. It's just Polly.
And we love him.
We love him for it. It's a gay old thing. I had the best time when I filmed Polly's brush challenge, which was, unusual and fun and gay all at the time.
Well, I had to ask you, let me check my notes over here on the side of the screen. So bingo is part of the Sydney Pride online love stream. Are you going to do any special bingos?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I am. Sorry. You know what? I've just got to add just one more thing. You and I both know the technical drama that we have faced with online broadcasts. Specifically, we love Facebook because it's so interactive, but it cuts you off. My Facebook stream, which was just on so people would watch, went for 2 hours and 20 minutes with no fucking cutoffs at all last night. Can you believe it?
I don't get it. And we got cut off in 1 minute today for playing a Lady Gaga song.
Well, we've got to ask Perry about that because I think Perry might have reported you because you know that he is not into Lady Gaga.
It was Perry.
It was. He reported. You know, I think we both got some Pride events coming on. But before we even talk about that, let's talk about how there's the battle of the social media platforms now. So we're just saying like Facebook. Have you done an Instagram live or not?
No, I haven't. I've stuck to Facebook because you can't do it from your desktop. You've got to do it from the phone.
Yeah, and
how about you?
Yeah, I don't actually have that many. Embarrassing. I don't have that many followers on Instagram because it's too technical for me. It's too technical. But I've got someone's offered to help me out with my online and social media. Like it actually, when you start talking about it, it blows my mind. It's too technical. So someone's going to help me out with that. But I like Instagram that you could bring someone on, but now Facebook gives you the option to bring someone on when you're doing a Facebook Live as well.
Yeah.
Which is exciting. And also now Instagram allows you, because it used to have to get, like, Instagram was like very like socially number driven. So you had to get to like, I think 10,000 followers before you could put a link. I mean, fuck off. Before you could put a link in your page. And now apparently they've changed that, but I haven't worked out how to do it.
Yeah, I'm not at 10,000 followers. Do you know what? I got up to 10,000 followers and then I used one of those services that gets rid of fake and bot accounts. And I went back down to 7,000 followers again. I was like, I should have just kept them so I had that bloody link ability, the swipe up thing.
I don't want to talk out of school.
Oh, okay.
But most social media influencers purchase a substantial amount of fake followers to get a base and then start adding on and adding on and adding on so their numbers go up. So, you know, maybe we've made the mistake by being honest. So don't get rid of those fake ones.
I know it's too late now. And I can't seem to I can't seem to get more followers. It's just kind of frozen. Should we just buy some?
Yeah, totally. And do you know what? It's so true. You just go online and then it's a call center in India and some man just keys all of your followers in. It's terrible. Thank you, Michael. It's a nice shirt. It's the only thing that fits me at the moment. Dan, there was something I was going to say. Oh, well, we should say we're not linked to Instagram now. So, Dan, if we wanted to follow you on Instagram, how would we find you?
I'm DJ Dan Murphy on everything. So, yes, find me on there. What's yours on Insta?
I had to battle because there's Cincinnati Penetration, as we all know. I'm the _ penetration, or just the penetration, I think. But, you know, it becomes hard. But after this Pride live stream, you and I, we're going to be absolutely huge, Dan.
Oh, my goodness. We are, well, for starters, we're now cover girls. Should I bring up the picky?
Yes, do bring up that picture, please.
Let's have a look here. Let's have a look. Oh, my goodness. Taken by the wonderful Anne-Marie Callahania. Have I said her surname right? I always get it wrong.
I just call it AM. Do you know what was funny about this photo is whilst this looks like we are in totally different places, that is actually me standing in my bathroom and Dan standing in my hallway. And
next to each other.
Yeah, it was the first time that we had actually been together, apart from me dropping off something, in 8 weeks. And we were both like, oh, hi. I'm pretty sure I interact in real life. We're good online.
It was weird. Well, there were 3 of us in your house. And I haven't been in people's houses for so long. It was like, can we hug? Can we kiss hello? It was strange.
No, I was last night. Having 3 in my house is something that's not foreign to me. Usually, I hope there's a foreign involved, but that makes it a little bit different. But yeah, so that's great. And then there's a couple of stories inside talking about, well, we weren't 100% sure when we did the photo shoot. We weren't 100% sure our involvement. And of course, Candy from Stonewall, Glenn Hansen, is running Love Stream. And Dan and I have a couple of our regular shows going on. So we sort of almost hijacked the cover there, but it's lovely to be on the cover there with you, Daniel Anne-Marie.
The first of many, I'm sure.
Yeah, totally. Vogue next. Who? Exactly. Who?
SX News. Oh, no.
Does that not? I went to say a capital Q. That was some time ago, wasn't it? Strange thing was, when we got asked to do the cover, we actually didn't know that Sydney Star Observer was still printing in print. We thought that it was all online.
Yeah, so obviously it folded for a little while and then somebody bought it and now it has resurrected it again. Thank goodness.
I like to call it re-erected again. Someone's re-erected.
Oh, re-erected. Oh.
Re-erected. But yeah, thank you for asking, Dan. As part of the love stream, I'm doing a big gender bender bingo. Just going to work out the date for that one. I've been rejigging my shows, and I think I'm going to make my Friday night show, which was Frightful Fridays. Actually, when I would be normally doing my makeup, I'm actually just going to do an hour talk show. And I'm going to do drag shows on Saturday, but I'm going to start inviting guests to come into my home. My home.
Great.
And they're going to be themed. My home. They're going to be themed. What are you doing?
Oh, fantastic.
What are you doing?
Oh, thanks for asking, Dal. Well, we've got an I Remember House party tomorrow from 5 till 10 p.m. That'll be online on I Remember House, my DJ Facebook, on Twitch and on YouTube. So Twitch and YouTube you don't get cut off on. So head over there.
I've got to sneeze again. Sorry.
That's all right. Sneeze away, Dal.
I'm like Minnie Cooper running off for a toilet break in your tractor. Right? Minnie had me in shit that she ran off for a toilet break. She was drinking beer, smeared a beer, and then she sat like that for 20 minutes thinking no one knew what she was doing. That makes me laugh.
It's a commitment. It's a professional commitment. Actually, so just going back to the article, have you ever done an article where you've been completely misquoted?
Oh my God, fuck yes.
Oh.
When we were going through Tranny Bingo Gate and we were in the midst of changing the name, and let me just reiterate, we were already in the midst of changing the name before she of the Caftan decided that she'd try and big note herself to the community. And I was contacted. Now, it was, sorry, but it's true. It's really funny. I think as a performer, and you may have experienced this. I think you have as well. Like you get a phone call from a newspaper, and
oh, we've lost Penny. Penny, we've lost you.
Really?
Oh, we've lost you, Penny. We've lost your video. I don't know if you can hear me. Oh, stand by, ladies and gentlemen. We've just got a couple of. There we go. Hi, welcome back.
Really fucking great time to call, Mum. We do this every Friday at 1:00. Great time to call.
Thanks, Mrs. Floyd.
I'm on Do Not Disturb, so don't worry. She'll call back. She'll call back 5 times. So I think you get like as like performers, you get a phone call from a newspaper, and you're like, oh yes. So you give an interview. Now, I got a call from a reporter from, I want to say the Daily Mail Australia. It's the Daily Mail. So now I know instantaneously, do not tell them anything because they will twist what you say, misquote. So I gave a very frank and honest interview, as I always would. And he said, how would you like us to refer to you in the interview? I'm like, oh, you can just call me Penny or Penetration. I'd prefer if you didn't use my real name because I was actually getting, and not just me, my family were getting not death threats, but like vile Facebook messages. So anyway, he goes, oh, can you send us through some photos? I'm like, yep, no problems at all. So I sent him through my photos, and because my photos came from my Daniel Floyd email, that allegedly allows them to use your name. So the headline for the article was Sydney transvestite Daniel Floyd. And I was like, I'm pretty certain I asked you not to use my name. I'm not a transvestite. And there it is for all and sundry. And not only that, you send them pictures, and then the fuckers, certainly from that publication, go through your internet, or like your Facebook or your Instagram, and find the ugliest goddamn. So they found the manliest pictures of me and then put it on the paper. So it's Sydney transvestite, and then there's me just looking like Bob from Blacktown in a wig. Hideous. So yes, I've been misquoted. How about you, Dan? Bob from Blacktown.
So did you complain, and did they do anything, or once it's up, that's it?
I think I did send a message saying, hey, I asked you not to use my full name because my family are receiving hate mail. And there was just no response. But Daily Mail don't care.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Why,
I
they
also
don't?
got involved. I won't go into details because it was kind of secret squirrel, where I was doing some work with the Sydney Morning Herald. And I called a reporter friend of mine, and Steve Pennells, he's lovely. And I'm like, listen, I need some advice. And he's like, anything you do with Sydney Morning Herald, you are going to be safe. Like, if they offer you confidentiality, they will stick by it. And then I'm like, and the other publications, he's like, yeah, maybe not so, but you can trust Sydney Morning Herald. So I've done some stuff with them since then, and I'm happy to say this is off the record, this is on the record. But you just got to be careful having you.
Yeah, 100%.
And what happened to you? You had an issue with your flash mob.
Yeah, so Kylie, this is back when Kylie Minogue was doing her K25 tour, and it was linked up with Mardi Gras, and she's doing a lot of publicity. A friend of mine works in publicity for her in Australia. And she called up, and we'd been doing a lot of flash mobs at the time. It was kind of en vogue back then. That's French. And then she said, oh, do you reckon you can put together some sort of flash mob with your volunteers for tomorrow, literally 24 hours away, while Kylie walks the red carpet, and we'll surprise her, and it'll be a little media moment. And we put it together. Joyce Mange was dressed as Kylie, and we had all these little kids, and then also our volunteer. She looked like a very long lost sister. But all these little kids, and then they sang, oh gosh, I can't even remember the song, but it was something like I Should Be So Lucky. And Kylie loved it. It was a great little media moment. I got to hug Kylie as well. So I had a little, Then I get this message on my Facebook from, I still remember her name, but I won't say it on air because she's a cunt. From the Daily Telegraph. She sent me a message, and she goes, oh, were you involved with that flash mob? Can you give me a call? We'd like to write an article. And so she's asking me questions about basically everything that I just told you now, how we organised it and everything. And she said, oh, did you go to the after party? And I said, oh, no, I didn't go to the after party. She said, have you got tickets to the concert? And I said, yeah, I'm going to the concert. The next day, the headline is Kylie's fake flash mob. And I was like... And apparently, because the management had organised with me, the flash mob, it was fake. And then it's going, the organiser didn't even get tickets to the after party and wasn't even offered a ticket to go and see her in concert. He got nothing. And I was like, oh. So I got straight onto Facebook to contact her. She blocked me. And then I called her news desk, and I kept getting her editor, and I complained to the editor, and then I called back, and no one would return my calls, and they're like, the article's done, you can't change it, the end.
Yeah, how about an apology? But did you instantly think, Kylie's reading this and she hates me?
No, well, her publicist called me up, and she goes, I can't believe they've written this article. She said they'd been at her for 5 days in a row writing these horrible articles about her for some reason, always finding a negative spin on her K25 promotion. And she said, oh, please don't worry about it. We're used to this. So, yeah.
But Kylie is cancelling the backstage meet and greet after the show.
Kylie never wants to see you again.
Speaking of cancelling meet and greets, have you got today's special Hollywood correspondent on the line?
I sure do. That'll be the one and only Perry Meek beaming in from his Hollywood bunker. How are you?
Oh, where do I begin? I mean, really, where do I begin? Well, first of all, actually, I know where to begin. Let me just read. A couple of weeks ago, I reached out to Leslie Jordan to try and get him on the show for you guys.
Oh,
I did this whole thing, sent him a thing, sent him an Instagram message, private message.
Look, it got sound effects.
Yeah. So anyway, that was that. And then another one I also reached out to too was Alyssa Edwards. Now I know Alyssa and like very well, like,
Uh-huh.
and I thought, okay, bitch, when you want another outfit and you call me up, I'll see that you read that message and didn't respond.
Well, Perry, before I leave you to chat to Dan, I'll also let you know that I still am waiting on a response from Cher and Bette Midler. That time I wrote those boozy messages and they haven't come back to me either. I'll go read the messages.
Well, to be fair, I probably would have ignored those messages too.
Dare you? I'll check the comments.
All right, we'll see you soon, Penny.
In a minute. So it's been a week of riot. It's been a riot. Literally.
It's been right. So whereabouts are you actually staying in LA?
Well, I'm 2 blocks or a block and a half from the Vivienne Westwood, from Melrose.
Okay.
So I went down, I was out walking and I heard that, there was over at the Grove that they were starting the riots and everything. And I sort of said to my friend, oh, they're at the Grove, it's turning ugly, blah, 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 not thinking that it would move. And so literally I walked down to the Vivienne to think, and I thought, let me just have a look at the end of the street and see, whether they've boarded up, because all of the stores were boarded up for COVID. When COVID happened, they cleaned out all the stock for all the Marc Jacobs, Vivienne Westwood, all of them boarded up because they were afraid of riots. Well, then last week, we just got the opening up thing again, where they could start opening up. So all the stock came back in. So anyway, I walked down to the end of the street, literally thinking, oh, there won't be anything. And they'd smashed the window to Vivienne Westwood. People were in there looting. They were running out with mannequins. And I literally stood there and videoed it. And I'm like, this is surreal. Like everybody, and people were videoing it. Cars were screeching up. But here's the thing. And then, so I posted on Instagram about it. Well, actually, then I literally went in and helped them clean up because there was, the kids that work in there, they're shop kids, and there was like a couple of them out the front. They must have been in like 20s, 22. They were like just standing there dumbfounded because they didn't know what to do. And I said, you got to, quick, get something to block the door and, because the police weren't going to come. They were too busy, down the road. So anyway, then I posted on Instagram and, some little bitch says to me, Vivienne, they can afford it, the Vivienne Westwood thing. But the whole thing of it was, this wasn't the protesters, this was opportunists. They were rolling up in black SUVs, black Escalades, like gangs of them, running in, grabbing shit and running out. Then they went to Beverly Hills to do it in Beverly. They got into McQueen, but they didn't get, and they tried to get into Gucci. So but then they tear gassed them over at Beverly Hills. But the rest of Melrose is basically like their stores are burned to the ground.
Really? I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah, it really got out of hand on Saturday night. And then Sunday, they moved to Santa Monica to 3rd Street Promenade because they were going to all the shopping centers, and then they went to Long Beach and then they went to the Valley. So but now the National Guard's here. I mean, the helicopters are still overhead tonight. It's calmed down a lot, like all the looting has stopped.
Yeah.
So it was surreal. It was like, this is a fucking it's literally anarchy. It's, and then, last night there was a huge, there's been not only one, there's been like 5 or 6 or more a day, huge marches downtown in the Valley, everything. And there was one in West Hollywood yesterday that we all went on. And it was so peaceful. Like everybody was there for the right thing. There was people handing out drinks and handing out snacks and, making sure that, everybody was okay. And a million and gazillion police and, thousands of people. So they weren't the troublemakers. It's only this, group that, groups But yeah, they literally, some of those stores in Melrose, I don't know if they'll come back. I mean, they literally were cleaned out. And I know I'm Fairfax too, yeah. Yeah.
And I guess it'll be tricky with insurance because they might not be covered for this kind of stuff.
Well, some of them may not, but but then the thing was, like, even when I was in Westwood helping them, like, they'd smashed all the jewelry thing and to grab all the jewelry, but then there was still so much jewelry left in the broken glass, on the floor that they'd missed. So it was literally surreal. Yeah, it was, and we've been on a curfew every night. We had to be in by 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock. But then tonight's the first night that there's no curfew. But
Okay.
still, you see it's all over the United States, but it's being fueled by basically one person in the White House.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
He's revving it up more and more.
Yeah. It's really, really awful.
We are talking about Kellyanne Conway, right?
All of them.
Do you feel unsafe?
No.
At home?
No, not at home. Not at home. But even because the thing is, people, they're not causing trouble. They're not going to come to people's houses and cause trouble. They want businesses. They want to sort of, where. And even on Melrose, like when I was down there when it was all happening, I didn't feel. I was more pissed off, and I felt bad for these kids because these kids were scared. A lot of people were scared, and I was just like, fucking, I'll beat them down with a fucking mannequin hand if they come up,
Why are they stealing mannequins of all things to steal from a shop?
Well, they had clothes on them.
Oh, okay.
They had all the clothes on them. They didn't even take the clothes off the mat. They just took the whole thing out the door. Except the weird thing was there was this gorgeous peach dress, like right in the front of Westwood, and it was so beautiful. And she got unscathed. They didn't take her. I was like, I thought, well, that proves that you don't have any taste, you stupid bitches, because that dress would have been the first thing you would have grabbed.
Oh my goodness, it sounds absolutely surreal.
Yeah, and apparently before I got there was a white lady and her daughter that had pulled up, and they were like in there looting the place. It was like, it was real trailer trash stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So,
And you're still on curfew now? What time is it there?
It's 8:30 here. No, tonight is the first night the curfew's been lifted, but,
Okay.
still go out on the street. I mean, nothing's open. Like, all the stores are boarded up. And of course, we still don't have the bars and that open from COVID.
Yes, yeah.
The restaurants have started to open, but then of course they closed on the weekend because, a few of them were burned down.
Yeah.
There was a famous Italian one on Melrose. It's owned by one of those celebrity chefs that was burned down. So yes, a lot of stuff, but the gays are still, having their little house parties and.
Oh, did you see? Oh, okay, so I've got two questions to ask you. You know that DJ that had the meth gala party in New York City? Oh gosh, maybe about a month ago, and then he put out that apology.
I mean, the thing is, like, you're really that dumb? Like, really, you're that dumb to be putting on, I mean, after we get off the air, because I won't disclose it on air, but I'll send you a very good link to somebody in Sydney who's been getting roasted on social media, absolutely torn to the coals.
We can probably talk in general terms about this. So for a bit of background, this particular person put up a very racist comment on Facebook saying that all the black protesters should be shot and killed. And and so, funnily enough, the backlash was so bad that he's had to remove all his Facebook or all his social links. And then they staged a suicide attempt to say, please feel sorry for me.
Do you know Charlie Treadway?
Yes.
Honey, I adore her. I adore him. Hey, I have been getting the popcorn every day and following his Facebook because she has been like, she's got every CVS receipt, honey, and she's going down and ticking off all the receipts. And she's like, nope, here's the proof. I love, yeah. And that whole thing about the suicide, oh yeah, she debunked that. But I mean,
apparently it's a porno set.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing watching that happen. Speaking of watching things happen, should we bring Penny back and chat about Real Housewives?
Oh my God.
Welcome back, Penny.
Hello, darling.
Thank you. Before we move into Real Housewives, I've got a couple of questions. Firstly, can I just say that no porno set without a full IV is a real porno set, so great work, guys. Perry, a question for Rob Manser from Pop Republic. He has asked, is there any Australian pop stars you would love to design for? Not Paulini after the pad thai incident.
Maybe, well, Tina Rena, maybe. Yeah.
End of list. End of list.
End of list.
Oh, that's not a new singer.
I haven't done anything for Kylie.
And Kylie or not Kylie?
No, and Kylie.
And Kylie.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, I should say Rob is also from Guide to Gay as well, who's been a great supporter here. Perry, did you see that 2 Australian reporters actually got involved in the riot and the police laid into them and bashed them?
Yeah, but I thought that was in Sydney.
No, look, I want to say it was there, and then that dumb blonde bitch from the White House said police have the right to protect themselves. They were standing there filming like a
Yeah. Well, did you see the one night where the poor old man, he was literally in his 80s or 90s in New York, and they pushed him over and he fell on his head and literally was laying there unconscious, and they kept walking over him. It's just terrible.
Yeah.
It's just like.
Kim Cooper messaged me, and she's in the same area as you, and she said that about 4 nights ago, and it's actually quite an emotional story, and you know me, that they grouped for the riot, and a policeman stood up and said, "My name is Bob, and I appreciate." But not Bob from Blacktown. My name is Bob, and no, let's give him. My name is Daryl. And I appreciate you're here, and I want you to hear your voice. We are here to do our job. Our job is to make sure that you finish by 8 o'clock. And they're like, no, it's 6 o'clock. And he's like, I respect your cause. Now, and in America, the kneeling, which was the initial protest when you went to the football games, that they would kneel during the national anthem, they wouldn't stand. And then, of course, after George Floyd, the kneeling took on a different kind of meaning. And the entire crowd demanded that the police kneel, and the entire police force knelt.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen that video.
Yeah.
People
Kim didn't take one.
Yeah. Well, and luckily, up where her restaurant where she works, they were sort of unscathed. But what's happened? They blocked the street off. Like in fact, they're still up there. You can't drive up Santa Monica Boulevard from sort of point A to point B because there's barricades in place. But yeah, they were lucky to not get looted.
Well, it's quite well. On the news today, they showed a parade. Sorry, that is such a terrible word to use. They showed a protest down Hollywood Boulevard, and you've got tanks out the front of Man's Chinese Theatre. Like, this is full on.
Yeah, no, they're down the street. That's the National Guard, because, they brought the National Guard in. Yeah, so they're all like decked out. They just stand there all day and night in case of any other trouble.
So to transgress from really important world matters, we have 2 weeks of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills to discuss, to break down.
The thing, actually last night was really, I really enjoyed it because it was an escape, because we've just been bombarded with all of this. So I just clicked it on and I'm like, oh my God. Now, can I just say, who in their right mind would ever think that anybody would sell Sutton into a sex slave ring? I looked at her, she's like,
Dolce & Gabbana.
I thought, girl, where? Uzbekistan? Ain't nobody going to touch that old dried up puss. Oh no, girl, she was.
I know. When she said she was getting on the dating apps and they were saying, oh, she said she was scared of being sold into sex slavery, I wanted to say, but I thought they took young people.
Honey, they wouldn't. Honey, they'd throw her back and ask for their money back.
Imagine her photo. I want to see what her photo would be like on
Could you?
Christian Mingle.
It'd be like one of those glamour shots ones, you know, the old like.
I totally did. I did a photo shoot the other day and I was trying to explain to the photographer, no disrespect to my trans friends because it's what we all used to do, but back in the day you used to do that to hide your Adam's apple. And the glamour shots are all this you did, Joyce. That's why you did it. You hid your Adam's apple.
Well, you know, they've boarded up her store. Her store's boarded up too.
She's got a store? Oh, she does have a store. I forgot about that. Episode 1.
So that didn't get...
Remember me and Kim Cooper were going to go in there and fart?
And then what about at the barbecue? Okay, first of all, Maurizio, he was like, I'm not turning up to this. He was like...
Well, he doesn't need to. There's a new stoner.
I know, he was like swaying, and I thought, oh my God. And then the other one, they didn't even get him on camera, Teddy's husband.
Oh, was he there?
He was there. He was like, they did a cutaway, and he was way in the back playing with the kids on the swing. Yeah, he was sitting down to eat. So I don't know whether they probably chucked him a sandwich and said, "Here, knock yourself out."
What's Denise's husband's name? Is it Aaron?
Aaron, yeah.
He is a fucking loon. He's a doctor, P.S., or like a physio or whatever.
What about Ag? And Kai was like, and and he goes, well, they're from the upper Himalayan, lesbian tribe of Huwanahana. And I was like, and Kai was just like, what the fuck? He bought her a bag of rocks.
And
the greatest thing in the whole thing is Erica Jane's face when shit goes down because she just does not put up with it.
Well, next week, it looks like she's really going to lose her shit next week when she stands up to him.
He needs it.
Good.
He needs it.
But no, I think they're absolutely crazy, paranoid conspiracy theory couple. They're like Pete Evans. Remember that shot early in the show? Where they're driving along and Denise is like, there's that weird car again. Oh, it's following us. It's like, no one's following you. Also, you have a camera in your car.
Word.
Now, Dan, I think you've got some topics that you want to ask us about, so throw.
Huh?
Okay. So do you think it was appropriate for Denise's husband to take over the conversation and tell everybody to shut up?
No, he hijacked
at the barbecue.
He hijacked that. And they were all like mortified by it. But he was, honey, did you see how they did the close-up of his glass with this much tequila in it? So
I missed that.
Yeah.
I'll give him one get out of jail free card, and that is that Denise continually tells us he has a big cock, which probably means that he doesn't. But for me, he's got like a 14-inch penis, so he can do whatever he wants.
Well, we need to see video proof of that. We need to see picture proof of that, honey.
It'll be out there. We need to find that masseuse that gave him the happy ending.
Well, I sent you to the link of whose penis, the drag queen.
Oh, I did. I looked at it more than once.
Yeah.
Who?
I love that. That drag queen that visited Folsom Street Fair.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what my favourite bit about that is? Is it's also matter of fact, like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, she was just like, yeah, somebody give me a drink. I thought,
but I wasn't disappointed. I'll say that much.
No. You listen, probably, at a recovery party, at the, tool shed, we'd all have a go.
Last calls.
No, listen, I've done far worse in the bathroom at Ark, at a recovery party.
Taxi drivers in the 90s, we all did it.
Me too. I did it with a taxi driver once after I'd paid the fare. I didn't even get a free ride. I was young.
You never paid the fare.
Well, I had my number.
You offer a lazy hand shandy in exchange for the fare. Okay, Perry, my question is, this is doing my head in. when the girls go to order a drink, the detail they go into their beverage request. I'd like a double vodka soda on the rocks, 2 squeezes of lime, carcasses out. Like, is that a thing, and why?
Well, I don't know, but listen, here's what kills me is when they all go out to this restaurant or wherever and they eat like they've just gotten out of a Botswana prison. They order like literally 10 things off the menu. And it's like, oh yeah, you're obviously not paying the bill, which is fine, honey. I'd do the same thing. I'll be like, listen, give me 2, 3 to-go bags. But like Denise, where were they? Denise and Aaron last night when they went out, and they ordered all of this shitload of food.
Yeah, but it looked like they were in Denny's. It looked like they were in Denny's. It wasn't classy.
I mean, well, honey, what did she order? Mashed potatoes and a salad.
No, but she stipulated that there was to be cucumber and parmesan.
And the dressing on the side. And I thought to myself, and that guy, I was like looking at him writing it, going like, yeah, he's probably like, fuck off, love.
He's like this.
You're so drunk, you won't remember what you get.
Yeah, and then the other thing is with these drinks, like they go out and they get these drinks that are like, and see, but that's what Andy does. I told you, he's tricky like that. Get them drunk, and so production will do it too. Production will get them, they'll want them hammered. But they go out and they get these drinks, and yet literally, like, if you or me had that drink, we'd probably be on the floor. But mysteriously, they're, well, not you. I know you, honey. You'd probably get 10 of them and still be high kicking at the Moulin Rouge. But me, but it's still like at the end of the night, standing.
And you can see the ones that know what they're doing, like Erica. Lisa Rinna never gets drunk. Erica never gets drunk.
Erica, yeah.
Yeah. And the others are like, they get hammered pretty quickly, especially new cast members.
Well, they know that it's a setup,
Mm.
Well, that will be a discussion Perry and I have about New York in a minute, because fucking hell, they're doing a really good job with that.
And here's the other thing, like that, when they were at that Garcelle's fundraiser, I
Who?
thought, Garcelle,
Who?
Oh, yeah.
Who?
I thought to myself, okay, this is like a really serious fundraiser where it's a really serious charity or really good charity that she does a lot of work for. I thought, don't cheapen it by doing this business in the charity. Like say, do it at the after party or go out for drinks later, but don't bring it into the fucking charity with, just makes the charity look bad.
Well, what was that shit about my new friends over there, some of them more than others? I'm like, piss off.
Well, that's what I mean, and there was like people probably at that charity that had no clue what she was referring to or whatever.
And probably paid $5,000 a seat to be there.
Yeah, exactly. And then she was
Guys, can I just tell everyone, and Dan and I, we're excited about this. Do you know that Garcelle is actually in Coming to America 2? Is anyone aware of that? Is anyone aware that she's in a movie?
Yes, Garcelle.
Oh, is she really? Was she in Coming to America 1?
Yes.
Briefly.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Oh, gosh, I had no idea. Is she friends with Britta from New York?
Well, she's friends with Sherry Pie.
Whatever happened to Sherry Pie? And I love that at the end of that dinner, Denise goes, I've got to leave. I've got to learn 30 pages for tomorrow. Yet in the scene before, you'd see the fucking bitch pulling the scripts out from behind the seats, reading them.
Honey, you better, honey, because if you're drunk off your tits, how are you going to remember all those lines in the morning?
Maybe she runs lines with her husband when they get home.
They get the box of rocks out, in a
Faraday cage.
Put them on their kidney or their liver. Put them on their fucking
They're
head.
nutty. But we should talk about coming up on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, because this is when it seems to kick off.
Is when the clitty liquor comes.
But I think it's made up.
Well, I don't know. Not apparent according to BP, but
Yeah, but they're alleging aren't they alleging like a 6-month affair?
5 months, I think. 5 months.
5 months.
Oh.
And I adore Brandy, and of course she is Dan, friend of the show. friend of the show, but she wasn't allowed to say much. But she also does love a good storyline. And we've seen her once in the beginning and once this week. And I love that she's like, I was told if I ever told this story, he'd kill her. Well, gay friend we all need.
Listen, she's, honey, she's gone through every reality show on the planet, honey. I mean, she loves a bit of attention, that one.
But she's good for it. If I was casting, she'd be number one on my list.
Well, all you do is give her a couple of shots or something, honey, and it's like one of those wind-up toys. Just give her some alcohol and let her run riot.
That's how I'd be on a show.
Me too. I'd be nice as pie until the booze started flowing, and then I'd be like, and another thing, and another thing.
Imagine, yeah, I'd throw. Somebody said to me once, "Oh, why didn't you?" Like back in the day, this is way back in the day, because I would never go on it now with the hideous, no talent fraud judges that they have. But I digress. But somebody asked me once back in the day if I would ever go on Project Runway, and I said, "Honey, I'd be in prison for throwing some scissors at somebody across the room."
Knife.
You fucking.
It'd be good TV.
Before we quickly touch on a couple of other reality TV, I always pull Dan up every week because he plays Lady Gaga music to introduce the show. And I thought that we had a discussion that that's a no more. Now, can we just confirm now or no? That's a no.
Well, I don't know about any copyright laws down there. I don't know what, but don't you recall somebody telling you about this song like what?
Yes!
8 weeks ago?
Call Me the Long Island Medium.
Whatever happened to her? All right, can I ask 2 questions about other reality TV shows? Are you Vanderpump Rules fans?
Hate it. I cannot watch a full episode of it. I just can't.
Reunion of that was a nightmare, apart from when the new girl called Jax Taylor an old man and said it's past your bedtime. He's 40. Did we get to watch the end or the final of Atlanta Reunion?
Yes.
So that got pretty, sorry Dan to disclude you from a show you don't see, but that got pretty
Go for it.
heated.
Well, Nene was like not having it. She's like, but so they probably would have cut her finale pay right there, honey, because that.
Well, I love that she said my laptop's on my porch. Come pick it up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because they all got sent, cameras.
So, and I think the interesting thing from Atlanta, for those of you who watch, is that there was a suggestion that Nene had asked that other chick whose name I didn't know to secretly record people and record what was being said. And then when they brought the other chick whose name I don't know onto the show to discuss it, Ivana, okay, Nene refused to be on the show. She left and she did not come back.
Well, she was busted, honey. Busted.
Do you reckon she'll be back next season?
Well, they're stupid not to have her back. She's one of their biggest, draws. But,
yeah.
But they've fired the others for less.
Yes, but once Bravo crosses the star, look at Vanderpump. Once Bravo crosses the star, they don't come back. And there was one other reality television show finale that I really wanted to talk to you about. Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. My hands are in the wrong position. Drag Race, Perry.
Where are my I'm just wondering where my hamburgers are since the hamburgers stole them. I was hungry. I'm like, okay,
What's your theory?
What I will say that the Queen's really good. Like they obviously sent the cameras and everything, so they look good. It wasn't, I was pleased with the winner. I was pleased they gave it to Jada.
Me too.
I was pleased. Look, I'll tell you what, there was I think that that up close lip sync, she was goddamn amazing. I think she was very, 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 very polished, but I just thought when they did the bring your own, I couldn't stand whatever that crazy pinata one's bird thing was.
Oh, no,
I didn't like it. And I just don't learn their names. And the little one, when he did like that, she did the aha, that was great.
That was
Jada
good,
was just like passed out on a lounge in a stolen bathrobe and then suddenly came good. But she danced right for it.
Yeah, but
Dan's
the other one sealed her fate when she did that, little cocky interview of like, I'm the best and you need to give me the crown. I thought, oh no, honey, you. But here's the thing I don't understand. For 2 weeks, she had those G-strings on her face. I'm like, okay, so why not just do it as RuPaul? Like, why do you have to why are you even putting something on your face? Like,
yeah.
And why was it so tight? She could hardly even talk.
Because she pinned the G-strings back. So I kicked off. I had maybe laid in bed and had one too many morning Bloody Marys. So I kicked off after the reunion, and people were like, "She never does a reunion in drag." Okay, fair enough. But I mean,
no, she always does a reunion drag.
Oh, sorry, not the reunion, the in between one, like I don't think she does. But she does the finale in drag.
Yeah, the finale
but
in drag, yeah.
This is what gets me. Let me just pull it down so my tits don't look so big. This is what gets me. RuPaul will sit and say, if you can't sew, you can't make it in drag. Okay, bitch, when was the last time you fucking sewed a dress? Yeah. She will criticize makeup. You can't do your own fucking makeup. You can't do wigs. No. Yeah, you're sitting there with a friggin' Hamburglar mask on through some fucking eye that I think you might have got one of your kids that you've got sponsored over in Rwanda to paint. And you're then criticizing who should be the next drag superstar of the world. I mean, at least put a fucking lash on and a lip.
I know, or a smoky eye.
Dan, what's your take on that?
I thought it was a lazy slap in the face, an absolute insult to everybody who's been watching that show. Even I know how to put on lipstick. It's written on the thing, lipstick.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Jesus
Christ. I've put on lipstick at a recovery party where I only had one eye working and it looked better than that.
Just one eye.
It's just a weird thing, isn't it, that after such a long period of time, I know you can get comfortable with using your glam team, but you fucking knew how to do it in the start, girl. But even when that mask put the...
Yeah. The whole thing has gotten very comfortable now. The whole format, the whole thing is just it's very predictable and very... And, and this week is going to be the All-Stars and,
Well, All-Stars rules have been revoked forever, so it's going to be so different.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how that goes, honey. I mean, Hey, there's a new one that you should follow, though, called... it's Tamar Braxton's new show. It's called Hairdresser. Oh, shit. I forget that. If you Google it, it'll come up. And what it basically is, it's Tamar and this celebrity wig guy who does wigs and hairstylists. And they go to somebody who's had their hair fucked up by a salon. And, and these people have had holes burnt in their head because it's all black hair, So these people have had holes burnt in their head and they've got the video and they go, yeah, she put my weave in wrong and, and half her head's hanging out. And what they do, they go and interview the stylist who did this to them and pretend that, they're interviewing for a job. And then they have the person come out and go, you fucked up my head, blah, 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 blah. And
to catch a beautician.
Is Tabitha Coffee involved in it? Because if Tabitha's not in it, I'm not watching it.
No, she's not. But, she did buy one of my face masks, Tabitha.
Really?
So, she's a supporter. Yeah, I love her.
My name is Tabitha and I'm taking over. And at the end of this week, some of you may not have your job.
Give me the key. But no, you should watch that To Catch a Beautician. It's really, really good. It's kind of good. And I will say the wigs that Tamar wears are on point. Because this guy's a celebrity. He does all the big black celebrities, so he knows his shit. But it's
okay.
Yeah, good one.
All right.
It's a good one.
All right, that's on
Perry,
the list.
As always, we could talk forever. I'll have to look to Dan for guidance. Do we want to continue on or are we wrapping this shit up?
I heard that you can start flying again soon.
I'm international, darling. I can't fit on those little planes. And let's be honest, America is now... Sorry, just to touch. So America is banning any Chinese airlines from flying to America. So that cancels out 4 Chinese airlines because China is now not allowing Delta and United to fly back. And Australia is expected to follow in suit. So let's be honest, I'm basically going to be a fucking cleaner for the rest of my life.
Well,
What kind of cleaner?
I want to be like a wig cleaner, so I'll just get lace off of drag queens that don't know how to do it properly.
Well, there's a fucking lot of them in Sydney.
Listen, it's called Get Tamar Braxton and team up with her. It's called Attributition.
Perry, I guess we'll talk to you next week. We've got a lot of shows to debrief. I'd like you to watch the reunion. I know you hate it, but because I think Vanderpump Rules has been ousted. I think they said that's it. This show was shit. But watch reunion because Lisa's really trying to pull rank and she don't do it so well.
But does Jack steal everyone's sunglasses?
He doesn't steal sunglasses. He attempts to steal everyone's thunder. And let's just be honest, he had a clap, but it certainly wasn't a thunder clap.
And on that note, kids.
We love you, Perry.
Bye.
We'll see you soon. Oh, and he's off. Oh,
Dan doesn't make me laugh. As a little bit of a behind the scenes, Dan and I have now decided that we have like Friday phobia, so we get nervous about doing the show. And we've now gone for approximately 2 hours and 10 minutes, and it's been a ball for us. I don't know how many people are still watching.
I think we've got tens of people tuning in. Going back to like bad jobs, what's the worst job you've ever done or you've ever had? Can you think of one?
Oh, I did a really bad hand job once. No. The worst job I've ever had.
I'll tell you mine. Oh no, go.
Yeah,
you used to work.
Go, because I can make a money. You go.
My first ever job out of high school was working in a kebab shop. It was called Uncle Tony's Kebabs, and it was in Sunshine Plaza in Maroochydore, and it was the middle of summer, and Sunshine Coast gets very, very warm. And what they did, instead of air conditioning the food court that this kebab shop was in, they made it open plan. So it was like 50 degrees standing in front of those rotisseries. It's the worst job I've ever had for $6.05 an hour.
What was your skin like though? Because that's just that greasy, hot fat coming off of yuck.
Dreadful. And it used to, because the meat was in the air all the time, it used to just penetrate your clothes. And I caught the bus. I'd always catch the bus home. And people would come and sit down next to me, and then they'd be like, and then move seats. And I'm like, it's a kebab. It's kebabs. It's not my body odor. It's kebabs. It was disgusting.
It'd be like having sex with a Lebanese man. The worst job I ever had. The worst job I ever had.
Yes, darling. What was that?
The worst job I ever had, when I first moved out of home, and look, let's say, we all get a little bit loose when we first move out from home. I got a job as a sales representative with Val Morgan Cinema Advertising. Now, I don't know if you remember, but Val Morgan Cinema Advertising, when you went to the cinema, before the previews would start, they would come up a screen that would be like, pop on over to Betty's. Betty provides amazing service 7 nights a week. Oh, so they would have screens that would come up. So I was selling those. But when you had to go, firstly, it was a 5-day-a-week job and I got a car allowance and it was pretty good pay. I was never out of bed until like 2 o'clock on Thursday from Monday because I'd had big weekends. And you had to then go to clients and you had to reenact a cinema presentation. So you had a cassette and you had like a spread, like a book of presentations. So you'd push play and it'd be like, welcome to Hoyt's Val Morgan Cinema Advertising. And then you'd have to hold up this book and it would in time with the music. And then you'd go to show the next ad.
Like a slideshow.
Well, it wasn't even a slideshow. You stood there in front of them with this presentation book going and turning the page. I used to do it at recovery parties for fun. I reckon I got paid for about maybe 12 weeks of work. I think I worked for about 6 hours. It was my coming of age job. That's the worst job I ever had. The worst job, but the gayest pay for the littlest amount of investment.
Oh, wow. I didn't know you worked for Val Morgan Cinema Advertising. I must have seen some of your work when I went to the movies.
It's not on my resume. And the worst thing is in the training, we had this like really aggressive heterosexual male trainer that like everyone was falling asleep in the training. So he had a squash ball, and if you'd start dozing, he'd throw the squash ball above your head. So you'd be like, oh, fuck.
Oh, my God.
I've had some great jobs.
Oh, my God. Fuck, there are some shit jobs out there, aren't there? It's not till you get to your 30s. And
wouldn't you die for one right now?
actually, point me to the kebab store. I'm ready to sell. Do you want tabbouleh with that?
What's that?
Do you want tabbouleh with that?
Oh, yes, but could you take the tomato out? Dan, over the weekend we have got some exciting things on. Tell me where we can find you.
Well, yes, tomorrow from 5 p.m. till 10 p.m, I Remember House on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. All the links are on my pages. Where can we find you all?
Tonight at 7 until 8. Oh, fuck those breasts. Tonight from 7 until 8, I'm doing a little gay chat show when I'd normally be doing my makeup. And tomorrow night, although it's conflicting with you, but, you know, tomorrow night I'll be doing Shift It Back Saturdays 9 until 10. Maybe I can pop in and do a spot for you.
Oh, sure. Well, if you're 9 till 10, surely you'll go longer than 10, right?
Yeah, what time are you finishing?
10.
Well, I could do 10 till 11. Let's see. Half the time I don't even do the shows I commit to.
No, I mean, if you're doing 9 till 10, surely your show will run longer than 10, and we can all pop over and see you after I Remember House. Yeah, I'll be like this.
I'll take longer to do my makeup, and I'll be like this. No, before.
A face cutie.
We'll chat. We'll see. We'll combine. I'll see you tonight to chat about progressions of Tration in isolation and gender bender bingo and how to fit into clothes you're no longer fit to. But thank you, Dan. It's been a gay, fun Friday afternoon.
I've had so much fun. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. We always love seeing your comments pop up. It warms the cockles of our hearts. We will see you online again soon. Very soon.
Real soon.
Bye.
You can pop in and buy us a shandy if you want. Buy us a shandy. We need it. Do you know how expensive my Dan Murphy's bill is?
And so Dan Murphy's bill is expensive as well. We love you. Bye.
You should just tell them you own it. Bye. Away.